Hey guys, Gabe D'Elia here with the Atomic Theory Timeline Project, and Research 7 guys had researched their theories of atoms, so let's get right into it. First guy up is Democritus. Democritus was born at Abdera in Thrace, 460 BC, and died 370 BC. One of his theories is everything made of tiny bits he called atoms, and another one of his theories is these atoms are indestructible. Democritus had no hard evidence, these were just ideas, and it turned out 2,000 years later his ideas became somewhat close to what he discovered, and he didn't do any experiments to find this. Like I said, they were all ideas. Next up for the timeline is John Dalton. John Dalton was born September 5th, 1766, and died July 27th, 1844. He was born in Cumberland as well. John Dalton was a British chemist and physicist. He made many discoveries about the atom. Dalton's atomic theory is a scientific theory about atoms. Dalton made the theory to explain why elements would combine in certain ways. Dalton's theory of atoms was based on actual observation. His theory stated that, and I'm going to go in no order here, just one by one. Everything is made from atoms, is number one. Number two, nothing can be simpler than an atom. Number three, atoms cannot be made or destroyed. Number four, chemical reactions are made when atoms are moved around, put with atoms or taken away from a group of atoms. And five is atoms of the same element are the same because they have the same mass. And the last one is atoms can only be joined in special ratios. And it is believed that Dalton's atomic theory contained the way that atoms used to bind together. Next up on the timeline at number 3 is J.J. Thomson. J.J. Thomson was born December 18th, 1856 at Cheetham Hill, Manchester, UK, and died August 30th, 1940, Cambridge, UK. He was known for the discovery of the electron, discovery of the isotypes, and discovered and invented the mass spectrometer invention. He was a British physicist and Nobel laureate. In 1897, Thomson showed that cathode rays were composed of a previously unknown negatively charged particle, later called the electron, as the first subatomic particle to be found. Thomson also found the first evidence for isotopes of a stable element in 1913 while studying anode rays. In atomic theory, he hypothesized that atoms were spheres evenly spread positive charge where an individual negatively charged electron resided. He later concluded there was more than one negatively charged particle in an atom. Next up, we have Ernest Rutherford coming in at number 4 on the timeline. Ernest Rutherford was born August 30th, 1871, and died October 19th, 1937. He was a New Zealand scientist, and Rutherford was one of the first researchers in nuclear physics after the discovery of radiation by French physicist Antoine Henri Becquerel. Rutherford discovered the 3 parts of radiation, which he named alpha, beta, and gamma. He also discovered that alpha particles were helium nuclei, and his Geiger-Martin experiment led to what we know today, the atom structure. Rutherford provided the existence of the nucleus, and it composed of protons and neutrons. And in 1919, Rutherford made the world's first artificial nuclear reaction, where he put alpha particles with nitrogen gas and created particles of oxygen, isotopes, and protons. And the most important part was that he changed nitrogen gas into oxygen gas. Next up, we have Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr was born October 7th, 1885, and died November 18th, 1962, and he was born in Copenhagen, Denmark. A fact about him is that he worked with Albert Einstein, and he was also considered one of the most important physicists of the 20th century. He introduced the theory of electrons traveling orbits around the nucleus of the atom in 1913, and the chemical properties of the orbit. He introduced the idea that an electron can drop from a higher energy orbit to a lower one. Then it can emit a photon of discrete energy. This is the basis of quantum theory. Number 6 on the timeline is Erwin Schrödinger. Erwin Schrödinger was born August 12, 1887 in Vienna, Erdberg, and died January 4th, 1961 in Vienna. A fact about him is that he was a World War I soldier. He was an Austrian physicist and theoretical biologist. He was one of the founding fathers of quantum theory. Schrödinger's most important work is the wave of mechanics, which was a formulation of quantum mechanics, and especially the Schrödinger's equation. He also worked on the field of biophysics. He invented the concept of nisotropy and helped to develop molecular biology. He died of tuberculosis in 1961. And the last one on the timeline is James Chadwick. James Chadwick was born October 20th, 1891 in Cheshire, England, and died July 24th, 1974 in Cambridge, England. He was an English physicist known for discovering the neutron, and he worked with Ernest Rutherford studying the emission of gamma rays from radioactive materials. He also studied the transmutation of elements by bombarding them with alpha particles and investigated the nature of the atomic nucleus. In 1932, he made an important discovery. The discovery